Hi, I'm Joe DeLisi, and this is the Joe DeLisi Financial Advisor Podcast. Okay, welcome to the Westpac Wealth Investment Podcast. I'm your host, Joe DeLisi, and today we have Nash Subotic. Did I say that right, Nash?
Yes.
I've known you for a long time, and this is the first time I've ever said your last name. Normally
they call me Nash, that's why.
They call you other things too. The people who are listening to this podcast tune in. They're clients of yours. They're clients of mine. They're clients of the firm, Westpac Wealth. And they are tuning in primarily for our investment philosophy and trying to, hear what we have to say about what's going on in the world and how it impacts their portfolios and ultimately their plan. But what's interesting, what occurred to me is most of those people don't know who you are. Even though, you've got this huge firm that every advisor that they're dealing with, works for you.
It's our firm. It's all of us together.
It is, but without you. So, a little backstory. I've been in the industry almost 30 years. You and I met in 2007 or 8.
2008. We met 17 years ago.
Long time.
A long time.
And I still remember the Hawaii office. It was much smaller than the office we're sitting in right now.
We invited you in 2008. We met actually at the event at the Limited Balance Sheet Forum in Orlando. And then I invited you to come to the firm, and sure enough, you showed up.
I said no, and then you told me where it was. It was Hawaii.
That's right.
Yeah, and I said, okay, we could probably do that at the end of the year in December.
It was Thanksgiving or December, something like that.
It was right around that time period. And, a firm of how many at that time?
At that time, probably only had like 15 people.
15 advisors? 15 people or advisors?
15 people. No.
15 people.
Maybe about 10 advisors at the time.
And Westpac Wealth has now how many?
We have close to 400 people total and 220 advisors.
And in how many states?
We are now probably in about 11, 12 states.
Okay.
A national firm.
At how many offices?
Probably 30 to 32.
30 offices. Yeah. From one, right?
From one.
Waikiki?
I lived in Waikiki, but the office is in downtown. Presentation was in Waikiki, but the office is in downtown Honolulu, the one we started.
I remember. It was humid because you had to walk outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Very humid, B space, not as nice.
You're right. It was
not as nice as this, right?
B space is pushing it. I remember. No, this is A space. This is a beautiful place.
It's a C plus. Maybe it's a C plus.
That's fair. And at the time, I'm part of Westpac now.
Yes.
That was very intentional on my part. I've been around a long time. I've been around a lot of leaders of firms. And I can honestly, this because we know each other, but for the clients listening to the podcast, I can say I've never met anybody like you in this industry who does what they say they're going to do. And it's not an accident. It's very unique. It's just who you are. And what's really interesting to me, because I'm an investment, I'm a weenie. I like this stuff. I like the science around it. Is to my knowledge, and I'm sure there are others, but there's not many. There are not many other CEOs of firms like this that have the investment philosophy that you do, which I think really puts the long-term client, the best interest of the client long-term over the short-term profits. How did you get there? Like what?
So I would come back on that, doing what you said you're going to do. I think it's common sense, isn't it? Right? To do what you said you're going to do. Unfortunately, a lot of people these days, there's nothing more common than people don't having a common sense, and looking at things. And I'm also a historian.
Mm-hmm.
I love history. History always repeats itself. Mm-hmm. If you really look at what's going on, even in the world today, where, we forgot what happened in 1940, 1941, and we've been having a lot of issues in the world. It's always coming back to some of these things, that I think people forget. And when it comes to investment world, history always repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take a look at the long-term view, not the last 10 years, not the last 20 years, but 30 plus years, you're going to start thinking about investments differently. You're going to be less speculative and more science-based.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our philosophy is based on that. And it's exciting because it also gives us comfort that what we do is the right thing for the client.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing though because it's easier said than done. Yeah. What I see a lot is that it's actually not a lot of times the client that's the problem; it's the advisor.
Yes.
Advisors are it's hard being an advisor when every client's coming in and saying, "I want crypto, I want the new this, I don't want to miss out on that." It's always something, and it's always this time is different. And clients will come with that, and they're not really saying they want it. They're asking the advisor, but oftentimes the advisor doesn't have the internal fortitude to stand up and say, no, what's right is right. The science is the science.
It's like a doctor. You don't go to a doctor's office and say, doctor, I need a medicine.
Yeah.
This is the medicine I need. And the same thing comes in our world. They come in, we are here to guide them, we are counseling them. And it's also, we're asking a lot of questions, and not every client is for us. And there's some people that are doing different things. But also, even in our firm, we took the approach and we're trying to influence new advisors. And obviously, you leading that effort for us. You're leading that vision for us. And we, one of the things about Westpac, we are going to our people that are doing, they're the best at what they do. And we come in and lean on them. There is some advisors that, might do active management or different things than what the firm, is believing in. And we're not dictators. We want to educate people, tell them what the philosophy is. But at the end of the day, same as the clients, some advisor also, might do different things. But hey, we took the position that we're going to stay behind science, behind not speculative investments, and trying to educate and train people to do the right things when it comes to long-term wealth management.
And that's a tough job. I think you have a difficult job because, as an advisor myself, I might have 100 clients I have to deal with. Well, you've got that multiplied, right? Because you've got one Joe, but there's, 300 in the firm now who have each 100 to 200, 300, I don't know, clients. So that's a multiplier.
We have 40,000 clients.
40,000 clients.
40,000 clients. And we just crossed, an exciting news last week, we just crossed 5 billion. And interesting enough, I was looking at the numbers, we grew 900% since 2017. That is a big growth.
What was the number?
900%. We just crossed 5 billion in assets under administration. 5,160 million.
So I got to give you some credit here because when you say that number, my immediate, as a business owner myself, I think, well, the market really helped us.
Yes.
Right. Helped you, helped Westpac, helped me. Because the market's been on a tear, and every market has been on a tear.
Yes.
It's not just the U.S. market; it's international. This year, the number one investment category, believe it or not, is international small cap value, which our clients have a large portion of their assets in. Not because we're timing it, but because that's how the portfolios are built. But I remember in 2020, you and I had a conversation, March, April timeframe, and you were saying, "What are we going to do? I mean, this is a bloodbath out there."
Yeah.
And what I said was, Nash, now's the time because advisors are letting their clients down. And to your credit, you went all in with that. And I think we probably saved a lot of people from hardship.
We saved a lot of people. We saved a lot of clients. And we immediately had a phone call and really provide comfort for our advisors. Advisors is a client of the firm, and then the client is a client really of the advisor. We're working for the advisors are working for the clients, and then the firm is also together with the advisors working for the clients. So we saved a lot of clients. And we kept them invested, in March of 2020. And sure enough, it was a little drop, and then market went up because obviously the government had a big help, and they had helped all the business owners. And it was actually a great time to be in the market. Yeah. Same time as it is right now.
But you didn't know that, and I didn't know that. We didn't know how that was going to turn out. We knew ultimately we would be fine. I think if you held a gun to my head and said, predict it, first of all, I wouldn't have, but I never would have guessed that by the end of 2020, we would have a positive market year. That's crazy.
And I think outside of 2022, every year was a pretty good year.
2022 was a down year. Our portfolios did quite well. If you're listening to this podcast, your portfolios, if you were with us, the S&P 500 was down roughly 20%. I'm rounding that. And our portfolios were down about 10, so it's... And again, it's not because you're smarter than the average bear or I am. We're just looking at, as you mentioned, we're looking at history.
And look at this year, right? With the tariffs and everything that's going on, and people that are, they have a global asset allocation, people that have the international and small cap. Yeah. It's performing quite well. And it's not going to be like this every year, but over the long period of time, it's gonna be the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm personally rooting for international to stick around for a while because you mentioned history. It's been a long time. International is interesting. You're not born in America. Where are you from? Tell us your story.
I'm actually born in Eastern Europe. Okay. I'm born in Bosnia, ex-Yugoslavian Republic. It was a communist country. 1990 fall apart. 6 republics today. Bloody civil war. Pretty tough, and what's going on today in Russia and Ukraine, and it was happening in Palestine and Gaza, and it kind of reminded me on the time, how I grew up and how I survived that hell, because it was hell.
Yeah.
And definitely Europe has changed, but definitely being a global citizen, I live in the United States. I love this country and what it did for me, but I'm still a citizen of the world, and I see what's going on, and I want everybody to do well, and that's why international is important, because if we all have to be successful in all the countries, and investing globally is the key.
It's really interesting you bring that up. As you're saying, you and I haven't had this conversation before, but we don't even have international data prior to roughly 1973. Emerging markets, even more recent, 1990. There's no data because prior to, we came out of World War II. And, defeating fascism and then starting a Cold War with the communists. The world was destroyed. It was just America. That was it. That was the only market. That was really it, right?
There's no free market in communism. That's why.
There's no free market.
That's why you didn't have the data.
No, look at Cuba today. North Korea, South Korea. Yeah. But, I think what does happen is that as somebody who's born and raised in America, it's all I've ever known. I've done very little international travel. As you know me a little bit. I've got to Canada. That's about it. Yeah. Americans tend to look at it and say, well, we only need American. We only need U.S. stocks. And yet, when you look at it from 1973 through this year, 52 years, about half that time, international stocks have done better than American stocks, and about half the time it's the opposite. And so I don't know when...
And I'm going to tell you about Europe. Europe companies did so well for many, many years.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, not a single European company, I just read this the other day, not a single European company now is in the top 25 globally. Most of it is Asia and United States. So that's another reason why you have to diversify. Asia has been always on the move with all of these growth you see from China, Singapore, Hong Kong, India.
Yeah. And our portfolios, and this, they have exposure to all of that. We do not, to your point about capitalism, really, you didn't say the word, but that's,
it's capitalism,
It's free market capitalism. That's really the only place that the portfolios are invested in. There's a little bit of exposure into China, which I wouldn't call pure capitalistic country, but it's certainly not North Korea.
Yeah.
But a lot of the returns are coming from places in the emerging markets like India and Brazil. Yeah. And, there's no way for you or me to know the future. We don't try to predict it. We just know, to your point, that we have to allocate it. But I want to bring it back again for the folks listening. As an advisor myself, I feel fortunate because a lot of CEOs of firms, they talk that talk, but at the end of the day, whatever's hot is what they're pushing their advisors to sell. And Nash, you've never done that.
No.
You've always stayed true to what is right, what the science says, that's what we do.
Well, that's a philosophy, and that's why we're trying to educate our new people and explain to people why that's important. You got to stay the course, and you got to look at this global, long-term view on what's happening in the world.
All right, so two quick questions for you then.
Yeah.
First question is, we have a global recession in the next 4 or 5 years, and markets drop 40%. What would you tell your clients if that happened?
Probably go out there and try to invest even more.
I love it.
Yeah, because
I love it. Yeah,
because that's when you go out there and really can gain some serious wealth and profits. Well, think about the building we're sitting in here.
We bought it in the middle.
We bought it in the middle of the COVID. People told us that we're crazy. You're buying commercial buildings with 3 stories with 160 parking lots in the middle of COVID, August of 2020, and look at us now, 5 years later. Everybody says, what a smart move. Well, when everybody thinks, we should go right, that's the time we need to go left and vice versa. We don't want to follow the herd mentality, and I always talk about mainstream media. If mainstream media knows what's going on, everybody will be successful. They'll be millionaires and billionaires, and, the most successful people do the things that are opposite, unique, and they stay the course. They stay through things when the things get tough. And they really they double down.
Yeah, if mainstream media knew the future, they wouldn't tell you and me.
No.
They would just keep it and have an island somewhere and have all the money. And
me and you don't know the future either, and that's why we rely on the science because of that.
Yeah. The last question for you. Where is Westpac headed in your... How old are you?
46, just turned 46.
46 years old.
20 years from now, we have big plans.
Well, fill me in. I'd like to know.
I think continue to make the impact. continue to make the impact and continue to create value for clients. Bring the value, but also create the value. And creating value is really, bringing something to them that the other advisors don't. When it comes to tax planning, estate planning, wealth management, which we're talking about today. But on the top of this wealth management, there is other things that I think we bring to them. Risk management, protection, planning, organization, everything that comes when it comes to building that financial house. It's not just one thing, but it's everything.
That's a really, really good point. At this podcast, we typically talk wealth management and investments, but the reality is, again, it's not lip service. You've got a firm that, your philosophy is it's protection first. We start with things that other companies, I won't name them, but other companies, big companies, much larger than Westpac, will say that they do those things. But the truth of the matter is they actually don't. They don't
because
know
it's
much
easy
about
not
them.
to do it.
It's very easy
It's
not
very
to do
easy
it.
not
Right.
to do it.
Yeah, it's not.
It's very easy not to have that conversation, not to have. And we as advisors, I like to say this, we help people get ahead, but we also get paid to help them make tough decisions. Mm-hmm. And the tough decisions is sometimes not very popular decision, but it's a decision that they have to do. And we have to go head on sometimes with them and talk about these tough things. We can't have the servant mentality and take the orders and some of the things. Of course, sometimes we do when the clients are sophisticated and they've been with us for a long time. But a lot of new clients don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And that's why we are here to educate them, to open up their horizon, to make sure that they execute and do the right thing for their families and their businesses.
And the next whole generation, I got my 17-year-old daughter here.
That's right.
Listening to our podcast here. It's
right.
a whole nother generation we got to teach and train.
That's
and
right.
It's a big deal.
And that's the future, And one of the things you didn't ask me this, but where the Westpac is headed, I talked a lot about this. I would love for the kids to be part of the Westpac future. For everybody, imagine if all of us, one of the kids go into the business, how beautiful that would be.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day also, this business, selling our businesses, all the good businesses that are good, you can never sell them for what it's worth.
That's right.
Especially not our business.
That's right.
But any business, I would say. And why not bring the family and why don't bring the new generation so they can go out there and continue to build upon what we started.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you. I know you're a busy guy. I don't want to take any more of your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be on the podcast.
Well, I'm happy for our clients to just know who's behind, the firm. So thank you again. And, like and subscribe to our podcast for those of you out there. And we're on Spotify for the video. And for those of you who are audio only, you don't get to see our nice faces, but maybe that's okay too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nash. We'll see you next time.
Joe DeLisi is a registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, OSJ 5280 Carroll Canyon Road, 300 San Diego, California, 92121-619-648-6400. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA, SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Westpac Wealth Partners, LLC is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Insurance products offered through Westpac Wealth Partners and Insurance Services, LLC, a DBA of Westpac Wealth Partners, LLC. CA Insurance License number 0D34103. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not to be construed as tax, legal, or investment advice. Although the information has been gathered from sources believed to be reliable, please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon only when coordinated with individual professional advice. Guardian, its subsidiaries, agents, and employees do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. Guardian and its subsidiaries do not issue or advise with regard to mortgages, property and casualty insurance, and or car insurance. Consult your tax, legal, or accounting professional regarding
8872254.1. Expires 4/28.